I tweeted it out. So I'm in. You know how there's different rooms for like whatever slot you have in the Scott Fishbowl. Well,
yes. Oh yeah.
So
OnlyFans again.
I go in the 107 and I go, "Hey, is anyone else in here in the Radiohead League and division?" And it was just kind of crickets for a minute. Yeah.
Radio silence.
And then someone finally goes, "Well, no, because you're the 107 in radio. You're the only one." I was like, "Oh yeah."
Oh, that's funny.
Oh my God, that's amazing. That's the best story I've heard all week. I love it.
But it was like everyone was just waiting for the first person to say something like, "Dude," as soon as they did, they're like, "All right, I thought maybe it was me, but no, it was him." Yeah, okay.
Oh. That's dude.
Chase, you had an actual story to tell us in the pre-show.
Yeah, well, it's not even a story. It's more like a question. So I'm sitting there and I'm watching Hoosiers, right? And we kind of talked about
the best sports movie of all time.
It was great. Like I had to step away to come do this show, so you guys are welcome. But no, I'm sitting there and Ollie's making the 2 free throws, right? I think they're in the division playoffs. And I sat there and I was thinking, I was like, dude, is Gene Hackman like the best sports actor of all time? Like, is there anybody else that does more and better quality sports movies? And obviously, he's not going to, be the athletic one. But what do you got, Shane?
I'll go with Sylvester Stallone. Rocky 1, Rocky 2, Rocky, Balboa, Creed 1, and Creed 2.
Okay. That's a quality answer.
I'm going to say it's Kevin Costner.
He's not good at anything.
Bull Durham, Top Gun, and of course Draft Day. Can't forget Draft Day.
I love Draft Day. I don't care how unrealistic it is. I love Draft Day.
Tara, who you got? Best sports movie actor or actress?
Oh, let me throw one out there. Okay, go ahead.
No, I'll agree with you with Gene Hackman because I really love The Replacements. So that's my top movie right there. So I'll agree with that.
Replacements is definitely top.
No one agrees with Chase ever on this show. Like, don't just add.
We're on a hot streak. We're starting out strong. Oh man, this is getting me feeling good. So no,
MB Fantasy Life in the chat.
I think there's like a handful of good ones, and I feel like Sylvester Stallone's almost cheating, and he almost gets taken out because of that race car movie that he did back in like the early 2000s.
Well, racing isn't a sport, so that doesn't count. That's a car driving movie.
It was like
basically it's a movie about Uber. That's all that movie is. So that doesn't count. But the Rocky.
Could you imagine if the Fast and Furious series was remade about Uber drivers? And it's like the rival gangs was Uber versus Lyft.
Dude, I can't.
No, you treat your employees like crap. No, you do.
We give our employees a pee funnel.
Fast and Furious 3.
And on that note,
eats.
This is Fantasy Intervention. Now here to intervene with your fantasy life, Shane Manila, Jacob Sanderson, and Chase Vernon.
What is up, everybody? We got a big show tonight. We're super excited. We got Chase back with us as always. We got Shane back with us as always. It is my pleasure to be here every Tuesday, and especially it is my pleasure today to be here with a special guest, Tera Roberts at Its Tera Time. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing awesome. Thank you guys for having me.
And how about you tell us a little bit about yourself, what you're doing, what you've been up to lately in the fantasy community, and anything else you got going on?
Yeah, so I mean, what we've got going on right now, I'll talk about two things. Of course, you guys know I'm part of the Dynasty Swipers, which is a very, very awesome team. Both the on Vipercast on-screen guys, and then all of the guys that are doing the writing for the website as well. Just going awesome with them. In terms of the Behind the Grind series that we got going on, that's the big thing that we have, and we're on a pretty good run. We had Jamie Eisenberg last night. We've had, over the past month or so, like Jake Seeley, Stefania Bell, Adam Rank, and James Coe, Matthew Berry. It's been we've been like on a really awesome streak in terms of guests. So that's really the most fun thing we've got going on. And then I've challenged myself recently to do a 30 players in 30 days video every single day for 30 days, which, in my mind, I was like, the reason I did it, because I really wanted to challenge myself to start putting more content out there, more solo content. And I didn't realize so that's a hefty commitment. Even if it's like a short 30 or 3-minute video, you still have to, because you can't get out there and just say, I really like Saquon. He's amazing. He runs really well. Yeah. So you have to you got to put facts behind it. So it does, take some time to actually think about what you want to say. So yeah, and you can find that on the Dynasty Vipers YouTube channel. There's a playlist in there.
That's awesome. First off, just want to give a shout out everybody in the chat here. We got Kev in the chat, we got Taylor, we got Sal, we got Facebook user. I'm always a pleasure to be joined by Facebook user. And Tara, why don't you give us a quick shout out? Which of the 30 players in 30 days have you enjoyed the most, and which player was that?
So the one that I enjoy the most, I just came up with this one. I haven't put it out yet, so I'm gonna save that. But it's a little person in Cleveland. But of the ones that I've put out, I would say the most fun one was Daniel Jones. Just because it's fun to talk about. It's easy to talk about people that are, that are awesome. Like, just let's say I did like a Michael Pittman. A lot of people think that Pittman has a good opportunity to step into the wide receiver 1 role. But yeah, I'm hoping to. I got, he's the one that I love.
You're going to split us right down the middle with Michael Pittman. That's that side of the screen is very pro Michael Pittman. This side of the screen and that side of the how do I do this? I don't know. But yeah, so it's fun to talk about guys like that, but it's really fun to talk about the ones that people are super controversial on. And I know there's a lot of people that think that Daniel Jones is trash, but I personally think that last year was awful, but I really think that he's going to be able to turn it around and get back towards that rookie year. So I got high hopes for him. I really enjoyed doing that one. All right, that's awesome. Definitely check that out. 30 players in 30 days. That's all on the Vipers YouTube page, correct? That'll be a series on there?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So absolutely check that out. If you have questions about Daniel Jones, if you have any other questions for Tara, if you have questions for any of us or any players, let us know throughout. Otherwise, we're going to get into the show. We're going to start with some of the news that came out the last little bit. Then we're going to get into some camp stories, which camp stories we're buying, which camp stories we're selling. And finally, we're going to debut a new game that I came up with for this week. We're going to call it, in honor of Tara, who's joining us over from the Dynasty Vipers, we're going to call it the Dynasty Swipers, where basically I've written up some Bumble bios for a number of players playing in the NFL on your fantasy teams, and they're going to try and guess who these players are from their prompts. And if they get it right, they get to decide whether they're going to be swiping left or swiping right on that player in Dynasty. And by all means, if you're in the chat, you can absolutely play along. So make sure to stick with us tonight, and we got a fun one. Let's start in some recent news. Honestly, it's been a slow week from a football perspective. So if you have something you want us to break down, feel free. But I think the biggest news that came out is just a life news, really important news, I think, in terms of where the world is going. And Carl Nassib posted on his Instagram a video that he came out as gay. Of course, Carl Nassib is the defensive lineman for the Las Vegas Raiders right now. We've had, of course, Michael Sam was the first to come out when he was an NFL draft prospect. I believe Nassib is the first active NFL player to come out as gay. It's a really, really incredible moment for the National Football League, for professional sports in general, and especially coming out during Pride Month. And I also want to shout out that he gave out $100,000 donation to the Trevor Project to help with suicide prevention in the LGBTQ community. So that was fantastic. I'm just going to get anyone who wants to give a comment on this, because I feel like it was a really, really monumental moment for our community. And I'm really glad at least the people that I've seen, have taken this as it should be, at least, which is really a fantastic step. But by all means, anyone who wants to jump in, feel free.
Yeah, honestly, when the news came out, I was really pumped about it because the way he announced it, it was awesome that he felt so comfortable, like it felt natural, like he didn't have to, there was no nerves or anything. So to feel that he was, felt like he was in a great place to be able to come out, feel comfortable while he's active is amazing. So, I hope that, helps a lot of people moving forward.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more with that. I mean, obviously, like, it takes a lot of bravery to come out and announce it the way that you did. So obviously he had a little bit of a strong support system behind him, I guess, to an extent, which is encouraging. It's also encouraging when you have a locker room that has your back, and when you have teammates that support you. So I'm happy for people that are feeling more comfortable in that way. And honestly, I just feel like it's trending in the right direction for the most part. It's exciting.
10% of the SFB donations, Podathon donations, are going to the Trevor Project, according to Sal Lito. So that's
Shout
really
out to
cool.
Sal. Yep.
Yeah. So what's it? And I've seen the stat floating around that it's LGBTQ teens are 5 times more likely to commit suicide, things like that. And I know a lot of straight white males don't get why it's a big deal when someone comes out and he's a gay. So you see a lot of the straight white males going, I don't care who you love, that's between you and them, like I don't need to know about it. Well, the point is it's not normalized. We make it weird. So there has to be that representation so that people don't continue to think it's weird, and then teenagers still don't feel the need to hide who they are. I couldn't even imagine what it's like to have to go through your life pretending to completely like a different sex just because that's what society dictates or thinks that you should. So no, it's awesome. He's not the first one, I'm sure. I mean, look, there's been numerous gay people in sports, period, but he's the first one that's actually had, I don't want to say courage, but he's the first one that felt comfortable enough to do it. So that's awesome.
Yeah, so good for Carl, good for the Raiders and everything that's come out from there, and good for, I think, the NFL community as a whole for the way that this has gone. So I just wanted to shout that out. Quickly into football talk, Taylor has broken some news. He says that in today's news, Joe Mixon's production died before it ever began. Enter Chris Evans. Joe Mixon, as I've always said, the most profitable thing anyone can do in Dynasty Fantasy Football is to buy Joe Mixon every January and then sell him every July. Maybe the sell is starting early. Chris Evans apparently has the best hands that the Bengals coaching staff have ever seen, I believe, at the running back position. He must just have incredible, unwrinkled hands. He might even be a hand model. Tara, I'll let you go first. How do you feel about Joe Mixon this year? And actually, it's another question, because this is one of those backfields where it seems like nobody drafts the second back. If you were in a dynasty or you were in a best ball league or any format and you had to draft a non-Joe Mixon running back, who would you pick, and how do you feel about Joe Mixon this year?
I'm never really high on Joe Mixon, to be honest. I don't know. I don't feel comfortable with him. But yeah, I would definitely support drafting Chris Evans, because I saw Giovanni Bernard last year single-handedly drag a team to the 1 seed in the playoffs, like serving as the single RB1 on that team. So yeah, I think the opportunity is there. I think whoever runs the ball there, I don't know. It's hard to believe that if they actually get a healthy Mixon, that they won't make him a workhorse and give that opportunity, because there's not a lot of wear and tear and tread on him. But yeah, I would definitely invest in Evans.
Chase, I know you're not the biggest Mixon fan, correct?
You could say that again. But I mean,
Chase, I know you're not the biggest Mixon fan, correct?
I'm not the biggest Mixon fan overall. I think he's good. I just didn't love his situation, and I'm a huge situation type person. And I know situations change, and I'll adjust my rankings year to year based on how situations change. But I will say that up here, I'm in a draft, and I'm up next. I'm one person between me and them, and that's who I have queued up right now.
You know that God created screen share so you didn't have to do this, right?
Can I do it for my phone? I don't even know how that works.
Right, on the 7th day, we got light. On the 8th day, we got screen share, so you don't have to stick your phone into the middle of the window.
How do I make my screen not blurry now? That's what I want to know.
I don't know. Well, you work on that. Shane, you're known for your situational analysis. What do you think of Mixon this year? And if you were on the clock, if you were forced, Chris Evans, Samaje Perine, Puka Williams, Travion Williams, which Bengals running back would you want if/when Joe Mixon gets hurt?
Well, probably Chris Evans because he's the newest one there. So that pretty much tells me all I need to know about Travion and Samaje. It says Samaje there? Which P. Ryan is it? It's not Michael, right?
Well, Michael's in New York for
It's
now,
the original.
but that could end at any time, I think.
It's the original Samaje P. Ryan. The original, and it's funny Chase talking about situation since everybody overdrafted Samaj P. Ryan because of his situation. And
I didn't like him, and I was Washington fan. So
I'm just saying, you love situations. Just saying. And
I didn't like his situation.
And he jumped up the draft board.
Situation.
We all loved him, except for me. I was like, this guy still sucks. I don't care what his situation is. Anyway,
it was a good situation.
I'll go with Captain America. But I will say this: I'm not a big Mixon guy, right? But at RB15, I could kind of get into him this year. I would take him over Ezekiel Elliott and Austin Eckler. The 2 times he's been healthy, he's been really superb. You just have to hope that maybe this is a year that'll be healthy.
All right, I'll give you this one, Husker in the chat. I totally didn't realize, by the way, I was calling him Boosker for like weeks because I couldn't read the little icon in the chat. And so I was thinking it was like, I see the D and I'm like a little bit dyslexic. So I always thought it was like a Husker Du thing, like the band. But then I saw him on Twitter and I saw that he has like a full on, Nebraska Cornhuskers situation.
I was so confused.
So it's obviously Husker. I'm a complete idiot. My apologies to Husker. Stash or trash, Rashad Penny. Let's give it a 1-word answer here. Stash or trash? I say in general trash, but I mean you're not going to cut him. Chase. Stash or trash. So
yeah, like you said, you're not going to cut him, but like, what can you get for him on the market? You just hold him for 1 more year.
1 word.
I can't.
Shane,
Stash.
We can't do 1 word.
Stash.
Tara, stash or trash? You can use multiple words if you want. I like you more than them.
Thank you. I'll say stash just because I agree. Like, what's the point of actually getting rid of him? But and there's no one else really behind him that's going to kind of be a threat. So, in that theory, stash, but it's not really useful. So, kind of trash. I don't know.
Which running back does the team hate more, Keyshawn Vaughn or DJ Dallas? Because I've never seen 2 running backs that the team drafted and then immediately decided that they absolutely hated
Keyshawn
and would sign literally anyone off the street to play ahead of them.
But DJ Dallas.
But Arians comes out because like Pete Carroll doesn't come out and actually tell you that he fucking hates DJ Dallas.
He shows you. He signed Bruce Scarborough off like a.
Yeah,
he was like working at the International House of Pancakes. And he was like, "Here, come take DJ Dallas's carries."
Bruce Arians pretty much came out last month and was like, "I don't know what this dipshit's doing going to practice with fucking Brady. Like, I control his job. I'm probably going to cut him. He needs to get his ass here." And then he signed Rojo. Leonard Fournette. Then this year they were like, who would be an upgrade to Keyshawn? Gio Bernard at age 46. So,
but Keyshawn can't catch. That's the biggest issue with Keyshawn is he can't catch for shit. Like
he also can't.
Everything. Him and Rojo both.
Yeah, well, okay. So Rojo's a better receiver. Okay, you shut your mouth about Rojo. He's a better receiver than you're giving him credit for.
Oh my god, that's fake news.
Anyway, I can't believe that Rojo hate. Just unnecessary to go there when we were talking about how bad Keyshawn Vaughn is.
All right, fair enough, Shane. Let's get into some camp stories quick. Mini camp has been in full steam. That brought us all sorts of glorious bites of news, a lot of really, really bad news bites. Let's go around quick. Let's focus on the positives or the negatives, whatever it is. But let's give one news story coming out of camp, be it a player performance, some coach speak, some whatever it was that you think is actually real. And then we'll get into one that you think each is actually smoke. Tara, we will start with you. What's one piece of news rising from minicamp, any player, any coach speak, anything that you're actually believing and has materially affected how you're viewing the fantasy season coming up?
So I won't steal the big one out of New York. But I'm buying the Jacoby Myers hype. I'm buying that. I'm into it. It makes sense. There's not a whole lot of competition. Did we really think I enjoyed Nelson Aguilar in Vegas, but I don't know. I think it's very possible that he steps up and is the leader in targets there.
I am so into that. I mean, first of all, I always wore 16. My name is Jacob with a K. So this is the closest I'll ever get to playing for the New England Patriots. So I'm fully on board with Jacoby's season. I also think he's good. And, I don't have any strong feelings about any of the other pass catchers except for, I guess, Jonnu Smith. So I wouldn't surprise me if Jacoby Myers can beat out, Kendrick Bourne or anything like that. Shane, we'll flip it over to you next. And then Chase, what's one piece you think is actually real?
Yeah, so I don't pay attention to camp news.
Good for you. What do you do?
I treat it like small talk. Like I understand the purpose of it, like why other humans do it, though it doesn't make sense to me. But I'm working on that in therapy. So I don't really. I mean, like what? Elijah Moore. That's. Oh my God, Elijah Moore is going to be the wide receiver 1. Like he's already worth more than Justin Jefferson. Like he's Justin Jefferson plus CeeDee Lamb, plus AJ Brown right now. I mean. I don't buy any of it. Like, you know what I mean? We talked about this a little bit last week. Me and Chase did, I think. I don't know where you are, Jacob. You weren't invited. Sorry. We talked a little bit about it last week. Like, I'll pay attention to stuff that actually matters. Like, if there's a re-signing, someone gets injured. But just general coach speak. Elijah Moore dominating the first practices. I'm good. How about this? Laviska Shenault was Gardner Minshew. Here's a big one. Gardner Minshew. He was running with the ones in Jags camp. How about that? Just saying. Quarterback controversy.
Next part of the segment, Shane. Jeez, I was going to pick. Now I got to find a new one.
I just appreciate what I appreciate about Shane is that he both crapped on the question and then stole 2 answers away from other people. So thanks a lot, Shane. Really, really glad to have you on the show. Every week, just making our jobs harder. Chase, what's yours? And feel free if you also want to address Matt's question here in the chat. It says Jordan Love or Blake Bortles, best cattle about to go down.
So I wrote this down. I took notes. Matt Canada announces that he will do whatever he wants to do, or whatever Big Ben wants to do.
We're not going back there later.
No, I'm just kidding. Oh God, I know how to play the games, guys. I know how to play the games. We're good. Now, sitting there and looking at it, I love the Donovan Peoples-Jones hype that he's getting right now. I think that he's going to smash faces. I think that, he's
faces.
He's going to smash faces.
You should not talk about smashing faces when we just finished a Joe Mixon conversation. I'm just saying.
Whoa.
Bro, you said you have to go there.
That's mute. That's a mute. 30-second timeout.
All right, so I'm sitting there and I'm looking at a receiver who was a 5-star prospect coming out of high school, right? And then for whatever reason, instead of choosing like Ohio State or like the other 50 offers that he has, he chooses Michigan and goes to Harbaugh, who does not know how to develop wide receivers. It kind of blows my mind. He wasn't utilized in the offense. He still ended up commanding a significant target share of the quarterback's attempts. So he got what work he could get. And then he goes to the Browns, where he's hanging out with Stefanski, who has a track record of developing young quarterbacks. Young wide receivers. And it's not just young wide receivers. They're young wide receivers who are drafted late in drafts or undrafted period. We have Stephon Diggs. We have Adam Thielen. We have Charles Johnson. We have just, array of these receivers who at least we saw a flash in the pan from. And now Donovan Peoples-Jones, when he came in last year and he saw opportunities, saw targets, he came down with them. He didn't see a ton of them, but when he did, he was able to come down with them. And now he's developing into what could be the wide receiver 1 for Cleveland moving forward, especially with Landry and Odell Beckham being in the last year of their contracts. So yeah, I like the Donovan Peoples-Jones hype. I'm on board.
I'm all into DPJ as a stash for sure. I've been hyping up DPJ for a while. He was super efficient the chances he got, and I thought he was really, really, really underrated coming out of Michigan. Shane, it looks like you want to say something. You're making a whistling motion.
I don't actually remember seeing any Donovan Peoples-Jones hype this summer.
Maybe Chase wrote it.
Did you write it down?
Maybe I did.
Okay.
Shane, are you allowed to complain about not seeing hype when you explicitly said you don't read hype?
Look, I'm on Twitter. I see things, as they scroll by, and but I did not notice any DPJ.
Donovan Peoples-Jones looks incredible right now. Is the most recent thing, and that was a quote by quarterback Baker Mayfield.
He's always looked incredible, though. Like you said,
okay, I don't buy that.
He's a 5-star.
This is what I don't like. This is what I don't, okay. Here's the hype that I don't like is hype from other people's teammates. Like when it's like your quarterback saying what's the quarterback going to say? DPJ looks like shit. I'm throwing the ball to Rashard Higgins.
Well, if it's Aaron Rodgers, yeah. But most other quarterbacks are not going to throw you under the bus. So
it's also beat reporters too.
Okay, no, I've seen some beat reporter stuff for sure. I just want to toss up. Look, I was originally going to talk about Chenault, but Shane already touched on him a little bit and then spoiled it. So I'm fine. I'll take Dustin's lead here. Jacob Harris becoming the next Waller if he gets his McVay special project. Look, I don't know if he's going to be the next Waller or not, but what I can say is this dude, from all accounts, is absolutely balling. And coming in and playing tight end, really fun fact, 3 of the top 5 tight ends in the 2020 fantasy season did not play tight end in college. You had Logan Thomas, who was a quarterback. You had Robert Tonyan, who played some wide receiver, played some quarterback. And Darren Waller, of course, was a wide receiver at Georgia Tech. If there was one position where I'm willing to just take shots on athletic freaks that have no particular predictable production or might even be a little bit older, it's absolutely tight end because it's weird, it's voodoo, and athleticism is more correlated at tight end than any other position. So you're giving me Jacob Harris, who's an athletic freak, running in the 4.4s, jumping out of the gym, coming out of UCF, coming in, and if McVay just wants to force him to be a thing, and I also get to put my chips on him while simultaneously giving me a reason to fade literal felon Tyler Higbee, I'm absolutely all about that life. So give me Jacob Harris, and I'm totally going to buy that hype, especially because it serves my narratives. Shane, you look confused.
I think he's muted.
Shane, you're now not muted.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was just looking up Tyler Higbee prison time. I did not know yet.
Oh, so he didn't go to prison because the justice system doesn't work, but him and a group went up to a group of Arabs and he beat the crap out of them and said, "I'm going to go ISIS on you, mother effers."
Oh,
that's real. That's 100% real.
Yeah, I was just looking it up. So I like him even less now, fucking dipshit.
Yeah, not a good guy.
Which sucks because I'm not really buying the Jacob Harris hype, only because they had someone that was super athletic in that role before, Gerald Everett, and they decided to waste his 3-4 years there. But now I have to root for him because Tyler Higbee's a scumbag. So let's go Jacob Harris.
See, there we go. Also, like I just want to note Jacob Harris, Jacoby Myers. Again, I'm just living vicariously through these players. So, all right, Tera, we'll throw it back to you. Feel free on any of the ones that we talk to just jump in. But also, what's some cap news that you're absolutely not buying?
Not buying. So I saw the news come out about David Montgomery. I don't know if it was today or yesterday, but David Montgomery getting the team thinking that he's going to get a very hefty load and improve and be even better than last year. And I don't buy it. And it has nothing to do with, I'm sorry, I'm having a little mom moment. My kid came in. It has nothing to do. And make special appearances on shows.
That's awesome. We're
Spider-Man
for special guests.
Yes. Has absolutely nothing to do with lack of talent for David Montgomery. I think he's awesome. He did great last year when he was able to sit down and actually have a full workload and not have Tariq Cohen sitting there vulturing time from him. But my problem is that I don't believe the hype that Andy Dalton or the BS from Nagy that Andy Dalton is going to be the starter and he's the guy for the year. I don't believe that. I feel like we get to week 1 and there's no way in my mind that Justin Fields can't beat him out. And if Justin Fields is on the field with David Montgomery, I'm sorry, he's going to be taking a lot of those red zone touchdowns. So I think that it's just going to take away opportunity from him. So I feel kind of bad in that sense because I really like David Montgomery, but I think if Fields gets in there, he's just going to take so much opportunity from him in the red zone.
That makes a lot of sense to me. And Montgomery, if he's getting squeezed out in red zone touches, we don't know what Cohen's going to do in terms of the passing work. He might end up being a little bit of a tough sell. Chase, Matt's in the chat saying how much you love David Montgomery. How much do you love David Montgomery? And what's the camp news that you're fading this year?
So David Montgomery, everybody knows, was probably my favorite running back, of 2020.
Well, and of course, because he had the feed of Saquon and the vision of Le'Veon Bell and, all of those great things.
I would be surprised if he surpassed 500 rushing yards this year and maybe 100 receiving yards.
What? Come on.
Are we just saying random shit now?
Yeah, what else? What have we been doing this whole time, Shane?
I've been measured in my responses, and you got Chase out here saying crazy shit like David Montgomery might not even
shout out to
pass
Dustin in
500
the
yards.
chat, using my term competent plotter. David Montgomery is the king of the competent plotters.
That is perfect. I could not pick a better description for Dave Montgomery than a competent plotter. He's all right. He could move his feet a little bit, I guess. But if he doesn't have wide running holes to jog through, he's not going to be getting those 50-yard runs that he was getting from last season. So obviously that offensive line is arguably, declined to an extent. I mean, I'm not saying that they're necessarily going to be worse, but you replace a second-round rookie with, from a Pro Bowl left tackle, and that's pretty much the only addition they made. I don't really see that much of a significant improvement, but he's always going to have, the Vikings, who have not had a good defensive line in a couple of years, at least against the run. He's always going to have the Packers, which are terrible up against the run, and he's always going to have the Lions, who that defense is in shambles. So, he's going to have 6 good games a year.
Yeah, but the Lions are also always a threat to eat your kneecaps.
They are a threat to eat your kneecaps.
So if you play the Lions 2 times a year, as we know on this show, we've speculated, we've done an in-depth investigation of their knee harvesting organization. So
that was so. Oh,
one of the true highlights of the show. And Shane says that we don't just say random shit.
Yeah, he talked about eating people's kneecaps, and they keep bringing in old guys with bad knees. So clearly that's what they're trying to do, is eat people's kneecaps. So you are spot on calling it a kneecap harvesting organization. I think you called it a Ponzi scheme.
He also related it to Harry Potter, I think.
I don't know what Harry Potter is. I'm sorry. I've been laid before, so I don't know.
Chase, did you actually give a piece of news that you're fading, or have we completely gone off the rails?
Rails.
Rails, all rails. Just
all right.
Straight up. No more rails.
Shane, have you got anything to add here?
I didn't, but Tara brought up a good one. One of the few pieces of news that I actually thought was fun was Nagy's stupid ass saying that Andy Dalton is his starter. Like, there's no path for Justin Fields to become his starting quarterback by week 1. Like, dude, there's multiple paths, including your GM and owner going, dude, what are you talking about? Dude, are you kidding me? Like, we just traded up for this guy. Like, how much we gave up for this guy? I just gave you another shot after you fucked up Mitch Trubisky. Now we have, like, an actual, quarterback prospect. You put his fucking ass in there, dumbass. So
I love the idea of Shane as a GM.
Look, I
want you to be GM of the Eagles. Listen here, Nick. Rock, paper, scissors. Rock crushes paper, scissors crushes you.
Bill O'Brien is essentially like, the not the prerequisition, but anyways, he's pretty much the repeated thing of what's going to happen to Nagy in 2021. So it's interesting, like sitting there and looking at it. It's actually tough for me to want Justin Fields to start week 1. Unless he proves that he can pick up the blitz and he can read the blitz on a regular basis. I mean, he was sacked significantly more often than any other, rookie quarterback was this past year, or I should say, quarterback that was drafted in their final college season. It's like the perfect storm of bad things to happen for a quarterback. And if you guys want to go read my piece on it, you go to fantasyintervention.com and check that out. I love Justin Fields. Justin Fields was number 2 quarterback coming out. I do not like his landing spot. I don't like the coaching situation. I don't like how Nagy was unable to develop it. It's something as to where, I hope he doesn't get sacked a million times this year. I hope he doesn't fumble the ball like he did back in 2019 on almost every single sack. I'm hoping that he ends up, making it past all those issues. But it's going to take a lot of development to get past that.
There's every possibility in the world that Mitch Trubisky was just really bad at football. And if you ever watched
it was Foles too. It was Foles too.
But we know
Foles has always been bad at football, except for one magical stretch where he won the Eagles a Super Bowl.
What about the 7 touchdown game, bro?
He did have that one. He did have that one season. That's correct. And as Eagle fan, I will tell you that was the most charmed season ever. Like, dudes were just falling down. Riley Cooper was just running, screaming Rachel epithets down the field because that's what he did.
Look, Cooter knows.
Yeah, he was 7. Yes, against the Raiders. And if you look at 3 of those touchdowns, at least on 3 of those touchdowns, the DB literally fell down and died on the field. I don't even remember what the original.
That's why they call it the black hole.
Yeah, no, Justin Field. Even if Justin Fields' situation is bad for one season, if the Bears don't improve this year, Matt Nagy's going to get shit canned. So his situation will automatically improve because I'm sure they'll find some Sean McVay clone and bring him in.
Just anyone of Sean McVay's drinking buddies.
Yeah.
I got one blanket, one quick, and then we'll move into the game that I've been so excited for all week. Look, mine is just every single running back that's running wide receiver routes. I don't care. It's never happened. Every single year you read every single cat piece. They're like, this running back has been running routes at wide receiver, and he's looking very smooth. Some say he's just as good of a route runner as the whatever wide receiver for. Will we see him playing out wide this year? No, we won't. We never will. The only running back who has consistently played out wide in, I don't know, the last 5-10 years is James White. And outside of that, the only way that running backs play out wide is when they do the little motion thing to see if the middle linebacker's playing man coverage or zone coverage, and they walk out to the outside, and then they run a little curl route and stand there and watch the wide receivers run routes. That's it. They don't play out wide. If Cleveland couldn't play Kareem Hunt in the slot last year, in a game that they literally didn't have any wide receivers because all of their wide receivers had COVID, and they were playing a bunch of dudes from the International House of Pancakes, and they were still like, no, we're going to rotate our running backs, and they're going to play tailback because we need to play. I actually couldn't even name a single wide receiver that they had in the squad during that game. I actually couldn't name one. They were playing 3 tight end sets. They were still not playing him in the slot. They won't be playing running backs in the slot. And it's the most comical possible storyline for me, and it happens at like 20 different teams every single year.
Hey, watch out. All right. Chase Edmonds played 20% of his snaps as a wide receiver last year.
Okay, but did he run routes, or did he like run a bubble screen and then watch the play like me and you?
I didn't watch every single snap to break that one down. Somebody else did. I'm just looking at the numbers. Go to wire.com.
I will say, if anyone's going to do it, you have to believe it's Urban Meyer. I mean,
yeah, I kind of believe him. He's the one dude because he's actually done that, right? Like we actually have an actual track record of him playing that sort of H-back role. So I will say that Jacksonville, that's actually possible that they might run 2-back sets with Etienne playing the slash role. But every normal NFL coach, I don't buy it. But good catch, Tara. I'm with you on that one. That might happen.
Yeah, they're going to spread it out. They're going to go 4 wide and just have James Robinson just pound it up the middle up against 5 people in the box. It's going to be insane.
I have a theory, actually. Well, it's not my theory. It's shout out to DLF Carp on Twitter, Tyler. We were talking in a thread, just going about how, what are they going to freaking do in Jacksonville? And the answer seems that they should just play 3 wide receivers and 2 running backs constantly, and they should just yeet tight end out of existence because their top tight end is Tim freaking Tebow. And they should just not play Tim Tebow. And then they can play James Robinson and Travis Etienne and Chenault and Chark and Jones. And that's their best package, right?
It's going to be a combination of Colin Johnson on the outside, and then Chenault or Marvin Jones will play on the outside when Colin Johnson is in. And
Terry, you're allowed to laugh at him when he talks about Colin Johnson. You are
Marvin Jones will play 90% of the snaps. Go ahead.
Etienne and Marvin Jones are going to end up alternating the slot role for the other side of the slot. But they're going to go 4 wide almost every time, or at least run trips on the side and have Colin Johnson one-on-one to take away coverage from the trip side. It's almost like a given. Like every
Johnson is coming out the coverage. So they're going to double Colin Johnson.
Because have you guys looked at the height of the defensive backs for the AFC South? I think the tallest defensive back they have is 6'2". You have Colin Johnson sitting there at 6'7". So if you have one-on-one coverage with a 5'10" guy,
his height grows every episode. I recall when he was 6'5".
No, I think it's 6'6". Actually, I said 6'7" because somebody said that. I remember looking that up in like his rookie year, and I saw it.
So wait, are the Jags in the NBA draft? What pick do they have? Because they're just going to pick a small forward and throw him out there.
What do you do with your tight ends? What do you do with your tight ends? What does Travis Kelce do? He gets one-on-one coverage with a corner or with a nickel corner.
Yeah, but Travis Kelce's good.
It's a little more than just being big, dude. I mean, like you can't. It's not like you're just tall, so it's like you're automatically good. Like that works in like 8th grade. When you're the tall kid playing basketball and you got a foot on everyone, you're just like, oh, I'm dunking on dudes.
What are they going to do? He's almost a full foot taller. And his wingspan is like a pterodactyl.
Body him, and I get my arms inside his, and I don't let him use his.
So he catches up high. All right.
Well, I don't know why
That's
they
what he
didn't
did
do that
last
100 times last year. Why didn't they do that?
started
100.
to.
He should have had 115 receptions for 340 yards and like 18 first.
He should have. And he was actually open on multiple different plays last year, and they just never threw it up to him. He's actually open 3 different times in the red zone that I counted.
I am officially ending the segment. I'm officially banning Colin Johnson discussion.
No, you're not.
Until he actually gets 10 PPR points in a game. The words Colin Johnson are grounds for muting.
That's why they're hype piece.
Here's the problem.
Colin Johnson. I'm going to bring up Colin Johnson every episode.
Here's the problem with you, Chase. Like
you already do.
There's a bunch of guys we like as sleepers, and then you go that extra mile. Like, no. He's not just a sleeper. He's the wide receiver 1 for his team next year. Probably a wide receiver 1. So like, you got DPJ and Colin Johnson in the top 12 next year. Meanwhile, I'm like, no, I think they can put up wide receiver.
You got to leave room for Joe Reed.
Oh, Joe Reed. I'm sorry. Kadarius Toney rounding up the top 5.
All right. We're gonna
being mistreated right now.
We are gonna move on, and we are gonna play the game that will soon be sweeping the nation. I'm also gonna try and learn how to use screen share. So honestly, that would just be a win in and of itself. So you guys will have to let me know if this is all working good here. And let's do this.
Swipe right.
All right. Can you see?
No.
This looks good.
Yeah.
This looks good.
Mhm.
All right. Perfect. Okay. So the way this is gonna work.
Are we gonna get sued for this?
Yeah, that does look like a lot like Bumble's.
Like I have no comment. That's just 3 lines in the middle of a hexagon.
Is it? Oh, so that's supposed to be a honeycomb, right? So Bumble, you get okay.
Hey! This is not Bumble. This is
Dynasty Swipers. Swiper, no swiping. I got it.
Like as the law student on this podcast, I just want to confirm. All right. Just first off, if anything goes haywire, I can't see you guys, so just just pipe in here. All right. Here's how this is going to work for you folks in the chat, for you folks on screen. All right. I'm going to give you 3 prompts per player. That's going to be, dating style prompts. So I'm going to be talking in first person as the player. When you think you know it, you can buzz in, right? Because that's a totally non-Bumble honeycomb. So you're going to buzz in. All right. So whoever's buzz I hear first, you get the chance to guess. But you can only buzz in once per player. So be careful. Don't buzz in too early or you might spoil your shot. Everybody will get a chance to buzz after each prompt. Once we get through all 3 prompts, if nobody has buzzed in and gotten it right, of course, then I will simply reveal. However, if you get it right, then you get the chance to swipe right or swipe left on that player in Dynasty at their market value. That makes sense?
Yep.
Yeah. Are there photos? Because that's really all I ever look at.
There's a photo at the end.
Matt Canada announces.
Oh, Jesus. All right. First one is practice, okay? The first one's practice, so you can all work together. It's going to be nice and easy, okay?
All right.
All right. Prompt 1, player 1. Some nickname me baby, but I'm one of the biggest in my position.
Glenn Robinson.
I was going to say that.
Okay, these are NFL players.
I got nothing.
Okay.
Wait, it's not Glenn Robinson.
Hey, look.
Big Baby Glenn. It's
Glenn
Davis. That's what you're trying to say.
Yes, that's what I was
Here's the thing. That's okay. It's only prompt 1, right? But the prompts stack on each other. Prompt 2. My go-to music, nothing but smooth
Kenny
jazz.
G. Kenny Galladay is his actual name.
There you go. Look at that. Okay, and prompt 3 was going to be a date with me. Used to be in the Rock City, but we've recently moved to a giant locale. That, of course, is Kenny Galladay.
Yeah, but he's not the biggest at his position. That's Colin Johnson.
I said one of the biggest, Chase, and Colin Johnson doesn't exist.
Jacob, so what you need to do is we should have pictures first, even if they're headless, because that's how you do Bumble. You look at the pictures and then you decide if you want to read the profile. I've heard.
I read the profile first every time. What are you talking about? I want to know about their personality.
Okay.
All right.
I read the profile every single one.
Okay. Player 2, prompt 1. All right. We're actually playing for real. Okay. So once you buzz in, you get the chance to guess. You only get 1 guess each. All right. If you like dates with horses, I used to play at the shoe.
God, I feel like this is already. Never mind.
All right.
That's bestiality.
On to prompt 2. They used to call these. Okay, I heard first buzz from I believe that was Shane.
But I'm gonna give it to Tara because she raised her hand and she's clearly
She had her hand raised.
She has the most.
Okay.
She has manners and shit. So
Just remember, when I'm screen sharing on full screen, I can't see you, so that's why you got to buzz. All right, Tara, I'm giving you the first one. What do you got?
Right. Terry McLaurin.
Boom. That is correct. Just for curiosity, final clue was if you're the one for me, you need to bring the magic just brought into my life. And that, of course, is Terry McLaurin. There's your photo, Shane.
You got to go back to full screen.
What? I'll go to full screen. Chill. Okay?
He's handsome.
Jeez.
Tara, we don't. I just want to make sure everyone knows. Let's not advocate bestiality here. You should not date horses.
You like dates with horses. You go horseback riding, Shane. Get your head in the gutter, you goofball.
Okay, that's completely different. Okay. All right. Yeah.
And you used to play at the shoe. That's Ohio State, baby.
Thomas, so Bumble is like a less good version of Tinder. It's a dating app.
Okay, so I can't use Tinder. I'm banned for life from Tinder because when I was running in student union election, I changed my bio to swipe right for democracy. And then anyone who matched with me that went to the university, I shot them a voting link and I said I would appreciate your support in the upcoming election. And then they banned me for life for spam.
Oh my God!
That's worth it.
So Tara, you're at 1 point. First of all, how do you feel? You're up 1-0 in this game. That's a big position to be in. How do you feel the pole position here?
I'm feeling amazing. Last time I played a game on a show, I failed miserably and was so confused about the rules. It was on the open bar, so thanks, kid. But no, I'm pumped.
All right, you get the chance now. Terry McLaurin, at his price, I believe it's wide receiver 13 right now in Dynasty. Are you swiping left or are you swiping right on Terry McLaurin?
I don't do dating apps, but I'm assuming that swipe right is good, so I'm swiping right.
Swiping right on Terry McLaurin.
Do dating apps. Oh, I'm swiping the hell out of that.
Oh, I'm good at
Chase,
dating.
you don't get to swipe because you didn't get it right.
I don't care. I'm still swiping right.
They
I'm
didn't
swiping
ask
right
you.
for her.
No one asked you.
You better send me that link to that
Can
profile.
you mute him, please?
All right, on to the next. Tara's up 1-0-0. We're going to player 2. Well, technically player 3, but the first was a practice one. All right. Player 3, prompt 1. I broke onto the scene early in college, and unlike our mascot, I have no issue coming out of my shell.
DJ Moore.
Are you buzzing with DJ Moore?
Sorry.
DJ Moore does fit this prompt, but is incorrect.
Oh, come on.
You're done. No more buzz. You're muted. You're done for the segment. Well, for this player. Next up, player 3, prompt 2. Downloaded the app this week when it seemed I may need new company in my position room.
What the fuck? I can't. Yeah, apparently we're not very good at this. I got
All
nothing.
right, that's okay. That's okay. We got one more prompt. I broke onto set high expectations.
Stefan
for our first date. There we go.
Stefan
Diggs.
He was a Maryland Terrapin.
Correct. He played at Maryland, same place as DJ Moore. Chase was super sharp on the first clue. He just got the only other Maryland wide receiver who's really famous in the NFL. So good job, Chase. Downloaded the app.
Earlier?
He might need. They both broke out at 18.
Oh my God.
But the issue coming out of their shell, DJ Moore's like a nice, quiet guy. Stefan Diggs, you're always hearing from Stefan Diggs.
Yeah, fun fact about that Miracle in Minnesota is they lost the following week to the Eagles, so suck it.
Yeah, I can't believe you guys didn't get it on clue 2. Downloaded the app this week. May need new company in my position room. Cole Beasley's been threatening retirement for a week.
Cole Beasley doesn't register. He's exactly like small talk where I'm like, this makes no fucking sense, so I'm not going to pay attention to it.
Shane, are you vaccinated against Cole Beasley?
Really, Larry?
Yeah.
Hey, Larry, I think that's a little bit mean. Like Chase got one of the 2 acceptable answers to the first clue. He just went too early, but it was a very good guess.
Well, listen, and Chase knows this is a dating male. Going too early is never a good thing.
It's never a good thing. Too
All
early
right,
is
Shane.
never good.
Stefan Diggs going as the wide receiver 5 right now.
I'll swipe right on 5. 5?
I believe 5. I could be
Isn't
wrong.
the number 5?
I'm kind of just making this up as I go along. I could totally be wrong.
I
He's
thought
in
he
the
was at
5
4.
vicinity.
I think I have him at 4.
I'm gonna say so. He's like that hot girl, but she's like 170 miles. I don't want to make that drive. There's no way I'm making that drive. I'm gonna swipe left.
You're swiping left.
Yeah.
Dustin in the chat says Cole Peasley doesn't register anywhere in Shane's head at Max Clinics, etc. Do you think Cole Peasley registers on Bumble?
Oh man.
All right. After
Dude,
2
NFL
rounds,
teams should actually have this, like, to swipe left or right on players that might be free agents soon.
they
That's how
do. It's
they
called
can develop.
contracts.
Yeah.
All right. After 2 rounds, Tera's at 1, Shane's at 1, Chase at 0. Shane, how do you feel? You just tied the game. Are you feeling good about your position here?
I love my position. It's a good position to be in. Tara's going to get distracted because her son's upset, so I might be able to pull this out. Because I'm not worried about Chase.
Pull this
so.
out, really? That's what you're going to say for the Bumble app game?
Tara, you're right here. You got off to a hot start in the dating app tonight. All of a sudden, the kids are coming in into distraction. Is this a life metaphor for how kids affect Bumble?
Man. if you don't have them, reconsider. No, I'm just kidding.
It's not the answer I expected. All right, we got a tie game here. Chase, you're at 0 points. How do you feel about your position right now? You need to get this next one right, man.
This is like a normal night of me bumbling for 2 hours, so it's okay.
Oh. That's because, well, I thought you'd be doing better now that you shaved the mustache.
No, the mustache was getting all the girls to the yard, so unfortunately.
But they were police officers. They were police officers. It doesn't count when they're coming to arrest you.
Oh, man. All right. We're on to the next one here. Player 4, prompt 1. When I'm being too emotional, I need a safety net on my side. Shane.
Odell Beckham Jr.
Well, it's not very fun when you get it on the first prompt, but that is correct. Shane gets 2 points. Prompt 2 was, I'm forever known for my sticky hands on Sunday night. Sometimes I just need one. Prompt 3 was, everyone needs to be loved in different ways, and my partner needs to be a great number 2. I'm personally proud of that prompt. That was, of course, Odell Beckham. He has some particularly interesting tendencies in the dating scene. Shane taking the lead. Shane, Odell Beckham, I don't particularly know his exact ADP, but we all know that he's not exactly beloved right now in the Dynasty community. Are you swiping right or swiping left on Odell Beckham?
I'll swipe right, mostly because I did not ever click on any of the stories that explained the whole number 2 thing. I got the general.
Those also didn't register with you?
Well, those were more like, I don't need to know this. This does not help me in any way. I'm pretty sure this isn't something I'm into, so I'm just gonna skip past this. So saying all that, I'm gonna go ahead and swipe right on him because his ADP is probably pretty low because people are weird about butt stuff.
Who? Do you think that he's a good fantasy asset because clearly he's got some fantasies?
Okay, that dropped.
That didn't register. Sorry. All right.
Nothing.
Here we go. Shane or Chase, now you need to get this next one. Otherwise, you are mathematically eliminated. So you better get this point here. Tara, you got the chance to tie it up. Shane, if you get this one, you can clinch the game. You would win it. Big point here. All right. Player 5, prompt 1. I'm new to the dating scene, but my first impression was extremely impressive, if I do say so myself.
Justin Jefferson.
Would you like to buzz?
Buzz. God damn it, buzz.
Would you like to guess after you've now buzzed?
No, I'm done now. I don't want to guess.
Well, now you buzzed. You have to guess.
Justin Jefferson. I'm doing it.
This sucks that you guys get it on the first one.
Oh!
That was pretty good. Justin Jefferson was correct. Second one was, if we go out dancing, you always know what move I'm pulling out. Keep your eyes peeled for it. And people used to pass me over, but I've been right here the whole time. I guess it was all about the chase. That is Mr. Gritty himself, Justin Jefferson.
I went
Chase,
really hard.
You came out. You needed it. You needed it, and you got it. How do you feel?
Come through in the clutch. It is what it is.
Wow.
But I want to thank my mom. I want to thank God.
Do you think that God cares about Dynasty Swipers?
Yeah.
He might. Oh, I also want to thank you, Jacob, for coming up with such an easy clue for the first one.
All right, come on, let's wrap this up. I want to win this game.
All right. So going into the next one.
Buzz.
Here's the setup. Shane's at 2, Chase at 1, Tera's at 1. Okay. If Shane gets this, obviously he wins. If nobody gets this, obviously Shane wins. If Chase or Tera get this, the overall tiebreaker is the least number of clues total used. So
are you tracking that?
Yeah.
Oh.
No, he's not.
I'm absolutely tracking that. Look, here's two different options for you, Shane. One of the options is that yes, I've been tracking that the whole time. The other option is that I just came up with that tiebreaker literally 10 seconds ago. What do you think was more likely? And I'll just let you decide what that outcome is. Okay?
Okay.
All right. Player 6, prop 1. Back in college, I wore an animal synonymous with the host of this show's home country on my helmet. No guesses.
Oh,
I don't even know what
I don't know where you're
synonymous
from.
means.
Oh, I'm from Canada, Sarah.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Most of the show is usually them making fun of me about being Canadian, so I'm kind of surprised it didn't come up yet.
It's okay. I'm used to Canadians.
All right.
Yeah.
Prompt 2. I've played on many teams in my life, but I'm ready to commit to you.
Ryan Fitzpatrick. Bzz.
Yeah.
Ryan Fitzpatrick.
That is incorrect.
Oh.
Oh.
All right.
Ooh.
Chase, Tera, you got a chance here.
Okay.
You want to buzz on this question, or do you want to wait for the final clue?
I got
Let's get the final clue.
Got nothing. All right, we're going to the final prompt. Prompt 3. If I live up to my name, you won't have to eat takeout on our first date.
Is there a player named Taco in the league?
Yeah, there is.
That's the only prompts you're getting.
There's a player. It's Taco
Okay,
Charlton.
here's the
I'm not
thing.
buzzing on that.
All
You
right,
guys just have to guess.
Here's the
Just
3
guess.
prompts. Warren, okay, animal on the helmet. So their college logo is synonymous with Canada. They've played on a lot of teams, and their name is something that if they live up to it, you won't have to eat takeout on their first date.
Just guess. It doesn't matter.
Just guess. If you get it wrong, Shane wins anyway.
Yeah.
Oh, no. I don't want Shane to win, though. That's the whole thing.
How long
But if you
Brandon Cooks is in the chat. I'm going Brandon Cooks just because it's in the chat.
And that is correct.
Oh,
Brandon
shit.
Cooks played for the Oregon
Nice.
State Beavers in college. He's been on like every team in the league. He gets traded constantly. And of course, his name is Cooks. So there you go.
Okay. Now it
Yes,
all
that
makes
was
sense.
correct.
You know, what's really funny is I almost said Will Fuller seconds before I saw the chat pop up. Like it was literally coming out of my mouth and I stopped myself. And I went Brandon Cooks.
So Brandon Cooks, congratulations. Chase, you got that one right. Look, Shane was absolutely correct. I absolutely wasn't tracking that. And I'm going to give the win to Shane because Shane actually got his answers by himself and Dustin got the last answer for you. So based on that, I'm giving you 50% of that point. I'm giving 50% of the point to Dustin, Ross 30 in the chat. So the first winner is Shane at 2. Chase gets 1.5. Tera comes in at 1. And Dustin gets 0.5. So shout out to Dustin for being on the board. Also, I forgot Justin Jefferson to ask on this one, but Brandon Cooks, swiping left or swiping right on him in Dynasty, Chase?
Swipe left on Cooks in Dynasty. I mean, where's his ADP at? Did you have his ADP in front of you?
It's like in the 40s somewhere. Early 40s.
If it's early 40s, I'll probably still swipe left. But I mean, it's close to that point. I mean, yeah, no, I don't see a point as to where like he actually gains value from here on out. I think he's a declining asset. Yeah, sure, Deshaun Watson could come back? Question mark. I don't know if he deserves to or not, but that remains to be seen. I don't see a world into where Brandon Cooks is actually a valued asset at this point.
Tera, what's up?
No, I was just, while we're talking, I was just kind of doing a little cover up right there for a second, just for a quick second.
Oh, okay. Oh, you're coming up the Clemson there or what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. I thought you were putting your
Deshaun
hand up
for a
on the
quick
city.
second.
We don't blame Clemson for that. It's not like Trevor Lawrence has gotten into any shit.
Yeah.
Like Taj Boyd, I'm sure is an upstanding member of society.
He couldn't hit many people, but he was, a great man.
Yeah. Shane, I forgot to ask you, Justin Jefferson, wide receiver 2 in Dynasty, swiping left, swiping right.
Who, me?
Yeah, I forgot to ask you on JJ.
Sorry, he's out of my league, so I like swiping right on those just because, like, they might accidentally like match up with me, and then it's like, oh, did you mean to talk to me? And they're like, no, and but still, I still swipe right on them.
And then immediately, if you do match,
I really love how I love how much you bought into the game, Shane. I appreciate that.
No problem.
Shane, you're the champion. I'm going to give you 30 seconds to talk about literally anything you want. You can talk about how great it was to win. You can talk about the Eagles. You can talk about anything. This is your time to celebrate and do your victory lap.
Okay, go join some of the many charity best balls that are going on right now. There's the Warrior Bowl. There's FF Down Under, Australian People Bowl. I don't know if that's what it's called, but hit up my boy Fantasy Down Under, FFDU, on the Twitters. He's got the Australian People. I just joined that. The Warriors Bowl, joined that. What else is out there? Obviously, we're still filling best ball leagues for Dominic for the money goes towards him. GoFundMe. A blind gentleman is going through some kidney dialysis right now. And honestly, just type charity league into the Twitter search thingy, and you'll probably find like 5 or 10 to join. So go ahead and join some. They're fun. It's best ball, and you get to help people. So go do that.
That's awesome, Shane. One of the most charitable, one of the best guys I know. Thank you, Shane, for spreading the good word. Chase, yes, is around the horn. I will steal my gimmicks from large multinational corporations and ESPN game shows, and that's honestly seems fine to me. All right, that brings us to the end here. Final. Are we swiping right or are we swiping left on the first game that we actually got through without completely flopping and failing on the show?
Well, let me tell you how I feel. Listen, Matt Canada announces.
Oh my
God.
God.
Will do whatever.
Chase, remember, on Bumble, the girl has to make the first move, or the other. I think the girl has to make the first move, right? Like she has to speak first.
Yeah.
Just shut up. Let's let Tera speak.
That was great.
It was great because you didn't see where it was going.
I love it.
You never see where it's going.
But yeah, thank you guys. No, the game was a lot of fun. I didn't win, but I did score a point. So, my game show stock is increasing, and I'm, thank you. So thank you. Yeah, it was awesome.
Obviously. Thanks for coming on, Tera. Tera, where can the people find you?
You can find me on Twitter at Its Tera Time. And of course, visit the Dynasty Swipers YouTube channel. You can see all of our shows there. And I've got a playlist for all of my solo shows. It's Tera Time. And you can see, I think I'm up to like maybe 16 videos right now on there with more to come. Yeah. So, guys, head over there, check that out. Appreciate any subscriptions. And yeah, that's it for me.
Tera, I'm gonna go again with the around the horn format. You get 30 seconds to convince us why Daniel Jones doesn't suck.
All right, 30 seconds for Daniel Jones. So I don't blame last year on him solely. It was just an awful year for the Giants as a whole. I mean, first of all, they didn't have Saquon. When you lose your talent at running back like that, that's awful. The offensive line was a tragedy. The man was literally out there running for his life. And it was just, and on top of that, man, he didn't even have a wide receiver 1, maybe not even a wide receiver 2 for a portion of the year. So honestly, and then it tied in too. I don't know. It was just a huge tragedy for him. So them going out and getting Kenny Golladay, drafting Kadarius Toney, they're really out there trying to put in those investments for people that can go out there and really support Daniel Jones from a wide receiver perspective. So I think we're going to see a different Daniel Jones. I'm thinking this is like more than 30 seconds now, but we're going to see a different Daniel Jones now. They're really investing into the offense. And I have faith that it's going to be a lot better than people suspect overall.
That's awesome. If you want to check out more about Daniel Jones, if you want to check out more about Michael Pittman, if you want to check out more about any of the 30 players that Tera's covering in 30 days, make sure to check out Tera's playlist on Dynasty Vipers YouTube. Tera, thanks for coming on. It was a pleasure. Chase, where can people find you?
You guys can find me at colinjohnson.com. Once again, it's Colin.
Shane, where can people find you?
He's 6'8".
Hey, Chase, what do you lie about more, on your own height on Bumble or Colin Johnson's height on this show?
Well, Ian Hartitz actually convinced me to. Well, it was a combination. It was Rashad Bateman and Ian Hartitz. We came to the conclusion that we should lie on our Bumbles and put like an extra 3 inches on there, because he was 6'3" in high school, then he was like 6'2" or 6'1.5" in college, and now he's 6 foot. So he inspired the line about the height on Bumble for me. Now, it turned out really bad a few times because I said I was 6'5". Turns out I'm only like 5'7.5". Okay, I'm 5'7", but still.
Just say that you're dyslexic and that you got the numbers mixed up. You're like, I know I said I was 6'5", but I'm actually 5'6". I'm sorry. I figured it.
No, but no, you guys can go check me out over there at fantasyintervention.com. Once again, that's fantasyintervention.com. Coming out with a series where we're discussing quarterbacks and their situations, because they are very important, whether Shane wants to realize that or not. Quarterbacks with tough situations, such as Daniel Jones with the Vikings, obviously get up to a rough start, and it's up to them to dig themselves out. So it's something that's, kind of happening right now, possibly with Justin Fields. I just finished Zach Wilson editing. It should come out soon. That's a tough situation as well, but there's just more mystery than there is actually challenges against them. So I'm excited for that one to come out. Then you have, all sorts of other articles coming out from Anthony most recently, I believe, along with a couple new writers that we have as well. So I'm excited to get everybody, in the door and get the articles up and promote for them. But go check it out, fantasyintervention.com. You guys can find us over there at joinourcircle_. Once again, that's joinourcircle_ on Twitter, youtube.com/fantasyintervention. Big shout out to Fantasy Football Discussion over there on Facebook. Really appreciate you guys and the support y'all continuously bring to Fantasy Intervention. And then, of course, last but not least, you guys can find me at ff_intervention on Twitter.
Thank you, Chase, and definitely go make out. Wow, I'm still on Bumble. Definitely make sure to check out the Stabilize for Future series up on Fantasy Intervention that Chase has been working on. He's been putting a ton of work into that, and it's really awesome stuff. So make sure to go check that out. And Shane, where can people find you?
At Shane is the worst. What else? Dynasty Trades HQ, Manic and Chill, and find my writings and musings at DLF. And that's it. Yeah. That's all.
Thank you, Shane. Thank you, Chase. Thank you, Tera. This was fun. You can find me on Twitter, ff_RTDB. And you can find some of my stuff up on Fantasy Intervention. You can find some stuff up on Player Profiler. My next article is going to be about the running back dead zone in best ball. It'll be the first piece I wrote about best ball. I just wrote a similar thread about that. You can find on Twitter, and I'll be turning that into a article here. Shane, you look inquisitive.
No, I was just going to say, in case anyone, I know people don't like to read anymore because, words and fancy book learning is hard. But if anyone does like to read, they should really check out your work, both of your guys' work, all of your work. But for reading purposes, Chase and Jacob, because you guys have crushed it lately, and I like your writing. And I wouldn't bring it up if I didn't really believe it. I would just pretend that, I didn't know.
It didn't exist.
Yeah, basically.
I appreciate that, man.
People, Shane, if you keep saying things like this, people are going to actually think you're nice.
No, I never want anyone to think that I'm a horrible person. Like, matter of fact, after this wraps up, I'm going to go kick both of my kids because they've been quiet for too long. So they clearly broke something. So I'm just going to go in there and start kicking and ask questions later.
I love that. Like Shane's relationship with his kids is I guess this similar to like Jack Nicholson in The Departed. Are you a cop? Oh, fucking cop! Are you a cop? All right. This was a blast. Thanks, y'all. As I said, you can find me on Twitter, ff_RTDB. You can find my stuff on Player Profiler. You can find stuff on Fantasy Intervention. And you can find me every Tuesday, of course, here. You can find me on Friday at the Full Tilt Dynasty podcast. Dustin asks, Shane, why are your kids not cheering for you like Tera's? It's because he beats them. That's why they're not cheering for him. Tell them to be more supportive. They won't be more supportive if you continue to kick them. So I think
my kids are older, so it's easier to put fear into them. When they're little, like Tara's little guy there, they forget quickly, so the fear dissipates. You know what I mean? Like I can threaten them one night, but like a half an hour later, it's just like, Daddy, I love you. And you're like, I just threatened the shit out of you. You don't recall that? But at this age, they're old enough to retain and they understand the ramifications of
all right, well,
to support me.
God, they're going to wrap for show number 1, which is Dynasty Intervention. If you want to stay with us, you can catch show number 2, which is Shane and Tara's Parenting Corner, in which Tara says warm, supportive things, and Shane kicks children. So make sure to check them out for a well-rounded discussion on parenting advice from Shane and Tara. Also, I have to just give a quick shout out to Fantasy Walkabout with Thomas Tipple and Tom_Lee92. That's going to be rolling on the Full Tilt Dynasty Network in just 18 minutes. So that's where I'm going to be heading over to go check out my mates, Tom and Tom. And I'd love to see some of you guys in the chat. Otherwise, have a great night. Have a great Tuesday. Have a great week. And keep crushing your Dynasty teams as we make it through this long summer. If you have questions, if you have things you want to discuss, if you have game ideas, look, creating Dynasty content in the summer actually sucks. So if any of you have ideas that you want to see us talk about on the show, I will be more than happy to implement them. If you have guests we want to bring out, let us know. If you have anything, if you just want to talk, I don't have a very exciting life, so I'd rather talk to strangers online on the internet than talk to strangers online on Bumble, because at least, you guys aren't pretending that you're only using me for my fantasy advice. So have a good one. Thank you, Tara, again. Thank you all, and have a good night.